Welcome back, everyone. I am thrilled today to be joined by Mike Canning. Mike is the Senior Vice President of Capital Markets for Hall Structured Finance and a very close friend of ours over at Lone Star Pace. And today we're going to be talking about the $27 million C-PACE financing that we helped administer for Hall Group's Hall Arts Hotel, which is an absolutely beautiful property in the Dallas Arts District. If you guys haven't been, you're missing out. Go there, see the art, have a great meal at Ellie's. We're big fans. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. I'm happy to be talking to you.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, this could not be more timely because just last night, Mike and I were at the Best Real Estate Deal Awards that the DBJ puts on. And the C-PACE financing on the Hall Arts Hotel won the most creative financing category. So, very, very excited that it's getting its flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really great.
Awesome. Okay, well, I wanted to start by talking a little bit about you. You have a deep background in construction lending, and so, somebody who has a lot of knowledge in that area. What initially stood out to you about CPACE as a financing tool, and why did it make sense for a luxury asset like the Hall Arts Hotel?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and obviously, what we do here at Hall, we're a longtime developer here in the Dallas area. We also have a construction lending business, like you mentioned, and so we get to see all different aspects of the construction world, and especially construction financing, as both borrower and lender. What strikes us is on CPACE are the advantages to it over some other alternative financing options like ground leases. CPACE stands out in its flexibility, the long-term nature of it, the self-amortizing nature of it, the cost efficiency. All those things stick out to us when we're looking for creative ways to both on the borrowing side to capitalize projects, or on the lending side and the groups we're working with, how they capitalize their projects.
Yeah, and I feel like the flexibility aspect you mentioned really stood out for this project in particular because the C-PACE was applied retroactively. So could you just walk us through the decision that you guys made on your end to sort of recapitalize these energy efficiency improvements that you had already made and what that recapitalization did for your team financially?
Yeah, obviously, when we develop any asset, right, we're trying to do it in a responsible way, and not just for the efficiencies you get to the bottom line, right? Lower operating costs, but to just be a good community member, and we want to build things the right way. And so, Pace actually worked out great, right? Because we built in a lot of energy efficiencies into the project. And what this financing did for us, it just provided a lot of optionality for the future. In today's world, with the volatility going on, more liquidity is best than less liquidity. And so this structure allowed us to gain some liquidity, provide some optionality to the future without really limiting what we could do in the coming years.
Amazing. Yeah. And you mentioned before that CPACE can be more attractive than other forms of financing. This was a $27 million assessment. I mean, that's a significant investment. How did CPACE compare to other sources of capital in terms of costs, the risk, and the impact on your overall capital structure?
Yeah. So, as far as costs, it was, right with other, financing options, probably a little bit more efficient there. What we really liked about it was the long-term nature of it, and two, the fixed rate, right? It provided a natural hedge against future interest rate increases. Those kind of things, they stick out to us and they matter in the grand scheme of things.
The other attractive thing is the sustainability benefits that come with, in implementing CPACE. So the Hollards Hotel is expected to see a 75% annual reduction in natural gas use and 12% annual cut in electricity use.
Mhm.
How important were those performance metrics in sort of the broader vision for the property? And how do you see CPACE's role kind of developing in terms of environmentally conscious hospitality projects?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, reducing utility costs, it's sure it's beneficial for the property and for the company, and lowering our operating costs and improving the bottom line. Uh, probably more importantly, we just try to be good stewards of our developments, of the community, and we want to be responsible partners. And any bit we can do to reduce energy consumption is just a greater benefit for the community as a whole.
So let's look ahead a little bit more. Do you see CPACE becoming a more common tool in the Hall Group sort of lending or development strategies? Do you guys see yourselves using it again? And what advice, I guess, would you give to another property owner who's interested in it for a similar project?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as professional developers, we're always looking at the most efficient execution that we can get. And obviously, PACE will be a part of that, right? This is now our second PACE loan we've done. And we'll continue to look at it for future projects, especially as we get into periods of interest rate volatility. Like I mentioned, it works as a great hedge. We'll continue to look at it for future developments up at Hall Park. We'll see what we can do there. On the lending side, like I mentioned, we love it as a lender to have PACE in our projects that we're financing. It reduces the overall cost of capital for our borrowers. Again, the sustainability benefits that come with it, all the long-term self-amortizing nature of it. I mean, we really appreciate, especially over some other structures like ground leases. As far as advice for other developers, I'd say just as you're looking to capitalize your project, explore every option you can. Don't get stuck in the old ways of doing things where you're just going to stamp out your first mortgage and you're going to do the same thing over and over again. You'll get left behind because other developers are always looking for the most efficient execution, and that's what you should be doing as well.
And it helps you win awards.
Absolutely, which is very helpful. Which we can get.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike. This was such an important conversation. We're always trying to help developers understand the ways that they can benefit from CPACE. So very happy to have you guys be such great advocates for us. And if the audience has any questions for Mike, I will have his email in the final slide. And as usual, if you guys have any questions about CPACE or if you have a project in Texas that might be a good fit, please reach out to us at Lone Star PACE. Thanks, Mike, so much.
Thank you, Olivia. Talk to you soon.